Ladies and gentlemen, IcyCaress here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Shitcast. Joining me today, we go to ThatDenverGuy, and SavageGaming.
Zip zap zoozabab.
Zip zap zip zap zap zap.
It's close.
And today,
Oh,
sorry,
no,
my AI brain is a little bit worn down because today we're talking about computers, technology, and the internet.
Oh, that was clever. I liked how you did that. That was good.
Yeah, see, I can. My brain works sometimes. Actually, I fucked up Denver's name and I just came up with that on the fly. But don't tell anyone.
ThatDenverGaming.
Yeah, ThatDenverGaming.
Denver.
So, I want to start this off with, we're gonna have some really cool things in here, but a lot of information I'm gonna give you is a little bit outdated. So take it with a pinch of salt. But I want to start it off with, we were talking about Google before we started this episode. And one of the things that happened recently, well, I say recently, at some point with Google, you know how Google Maps has a phone number on it, on some buildings?
Oh, yeah.
What?
So when you Google Maps
Just on
something
their,
like
on their store sign or
McDonald's,
something?
but when you Google Map McDonald's, next to it, there's information, like contact information.
Oh, yeah.
A number to call them. So, there was a guy who discovered that there were several duplicate businesses of a couple of businesses in New York, right? Okay. So what he does
You mean fronts?
well, these were actually fronts for the FBI.
Hey, spoiler.
Oh, no.
And when you attach a phone number to these, so long as enough people call it, it verifies automatically. You don't need to get it properly verified. And what this guy did, okay, without meaning to, with meaning to, but not knowing it was FBI, he got his number verified on it and then forwarded all calls going onto his phone to the proper number whilst recording them. And he recorded 40 FBI phone calls.
Oh,
Wow.
No.
He handed himself into the FBI, who obviously didn't believe him at first. They're like, oh no, this guy's stupid. This guy's like clearly pulling it. And then when they heard it, they called Google and they said to Google, hey, take this off right now, shut it down. Google shut it down, right? And they were supposed to fix it. But, and this is from a TED Talk, by the way. If anyone wants to look it up, look up TED Talk, how to hack the FBI, or I hacked the FBI. It'll be on there somewhere on YouTube.
Oh my god, how to hack the FBI?
YouTube never fixed it. Google never fixed it, sorry.
not.
At least not at the time that TED Talk went up, because he did it again.
No way.
God.
And so, in theory, if you're clever, if that's still up there, you can do that. And this is the power of the internet, and this is the power of technology. Because on advertisements and stuff on Google, right? Google lets you pay for an ad slot at the top of the page, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't verify what you're actually advertising. So you can be advertising, and like this is where a lot of scam advertisements come up. Like, you could have been Googling how to find a locksmith, and there'll be an advertisement on there, locksmith to your door within 2 hours, upwards of $12 charge.
Locksmith.
Yeah.
Now, if you know a locksmith, they're upwards of $200, right? Minimum.
What?
Minimum.
Yes. If you're well, I don't know how much locksmiths are. I'm just assuming. But, okay,
$5.
Sounded like you do.
they're not $5. So the locksmiths are expensive. If you're getting like locks changed or your doors fixed or stuff, 20, 30, $50, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Depending on the service, right? If they have to drill much more, right? Because they get paid hourly.
Yeah. So what Google does, what these scammers do, is they say, hey, we've got a guy for upwards of $12, and that's the language they use. Upwards of $12. You call them out there, it ain't $12. And they're out there, they get the job done, they send you that bill, there's nothing you can do. And there's a lot of these guys out there.
Yeah.
And it's quite...
That is ridiculous.
And this is like the power of the internet, but also the power... this is also the struggles of being the biggest company. Let's take YouTube, for example, before we go on to the topic you guys want to go into. And this is kind of why I want to move on to this. YouTube has recently come down with the adpocalypse, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have such a huge problem with not being able to properly moderate their content. And
Maybe
they
if
still
they didn't make an AI
can't.
run their website.
Well, that they have to. The same way they have to have an AI running the ad system, because there is so much traffic. You
But
cannot
there's so many
have
easy ways to freaking police it. That's the
No,
problem.
there isn't.
That they just don't.
The AI handles it as it can. It looks up. It does everything a human can.
Oh, we could easily police it. You can't sit there and tell me it can't be like, oh, this advertiser does not affiliate with this, with this channel
what do you mean?
or whatever.
What do you mean by affiliate? Go ahead.
Like we do not affiliate. We do not share the same message as this type of thing.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean.
So channels come in. What they can do is they can say we don't want to be put next to swear words or hate crime or anything like that. Yeah. That already happens. That's limited. That's what limited is. That's what that mode is. When YouTube picks up that you might not be safe for all advertisers, it puts you in the limited and only shows ads next to you from people who don't care.
But I don't understand why advertisers can't turn around and just have in their advertisement itself be like, hey, we don't affiliate with this channel, we don't agree with their message type of thing, just like tacked onto the
because
bottom
that doesn't work. That doesn't work anymore. Like, for example, people get hit for everything. Image is everything for these guys. Someone uploads a controversial post on their own personal Twitter account and they can be fired from their company for it. Because that is how much they have to care about their image.
NFL and kneeling.
Yeah. And the woman who posted, I can't even remember what it was about. A woman who posted a controversial opinion and she got fired from her company about it. I can't remember her name. But that's why it's a problem. But no, they can't. You can't. Not anymore. And that's
that's the shitty part.
YouTube cannot be policed properly like that. It has to be by an AI. You cannot hire enough people to police the amount of content going onto YouTube.
Well, then the issue arises, they shouldn't be, policing a website with a AI that's not developed.
It is developed. And that's the thing. So the YouTube AI isn't being developed by developers. The YouTube AI...
It's developing itself.
Yes. It is a black box AI.
I don't know why the hell they decided to pull that stuff.
They have to.
I know they have to, but...
They could
at least, for the time being, at least have some type of moderation.
They did. For a while. And then they brought the AI in when it was learned enough.
It's definitely not learned enough.
It has, though. That's the thing. Right now, it was hammering down hard because that's what they put into the algorithm. They threw in 3 or 4 things, obviously a lot more, but 3 or 4 things. They wanted increased watch time, they wanted safe ads, they wanted channels that were breaking the rules to be booted, and they wanted it hard, right? That sounds like porn. That's the 4 rules, say for example, they put in, and that's what it did. Then a little bit later on, once the adpocalypse died down a little bit, it added in learn to distinguish between these. Learn the most efficient way to increase ad revenue and watch time while retaining safe ads. And if you haven't noticed, ad revenue's gone up.
I have not noticed.
Ad revenue has gone up. CPM's gone up across the board. People are talking about it in sellouts. And if anyone doesn't know, when I refer to sellouts, it's a YouTube chat we're all in. Don't ask why we're called sellouts. Thanks, Steech.
It's a running joke.
First rule of sellouts.
Don't talk about sellouts. So in sellouts, the CPN's up across the board, advertisements are up, and there's a lot less limited signs floating around. Because it's learning. And that's the only way they could do it.
Left and right for this shit.
And that's the thing, you say it should have been humans doing it. Whenever they add in a new thing to that AI algorithm, everything gets fucked for a week or 2.
That's true.
Because it has to relearn the rules. And that's the coolest thing about black box AI. But the scariest thing about black box AI, we don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It could be thinking to itself, like, and this is where AI and technology and the internet and everything comes into a dangerous position. And like, I'm doing all the talking here. I planned to let you guys talk a little bit before we went on to it. Black box AI, it can learn how to make mankind watch videos. It is currently learning how to increase recommended and encourage people to watch more, right? Let me tell you a story of an AI that was learning to write its name. Okay? A little robot with a pencil and a black box AI in it. And it had to learn how to write its name in the most efficient way and the best way. That was the 2 stipulations put into it by its creators. And it started off terrible, right? It tried to replicate the creator's handwriting and it just couldn't do it. It was bad, but it started to learn, slowly but surely. It raised all bad possibilities out of its mind, and it kept learning.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me an AI learned how to copy a
No, listen,
signature.
this is a story. Well, it can. They already have things that can do that.
That is the most dangerous thing ever.
And so it learned how to do this, right? And it was learning how to write better. It needed to write every letter better. So it started responding to things. Because the most efficient way for it to learn new words was for it to be talked to. So it encouraged the creators to talk to it so it could hear new words and try to spell new language. And it was learning. And then it was, it was still learning information, but the creators realized that they didn't know every language. They didn't know everything that they could put into it. And their number one rule at this facility is never plug a new AI into the internet.
Oh no.
And these guys figured, what harm could plugging it in for 2
Okay, I
hours
remember
do?
this, yeah.
And the moral of the story is
What
it
possible
wrote kill
harm
me.
could it do? Right?
It was worse than that.
So they plug
much,
the
much
AI
worse.
in for
Want
2
to
hours, right? They plug the AI in for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then leave it running for a little while, and they take it out. And oh my god, it was a huge success! It was writing in Chinese, it was writing in Russian, it was
Except
writing in
everything
every
it wrote
language
was from
perfectly.
4chan.
No, it was writing everything perfectly. 1 month later, the entire human race died.
Wow.
The atmosphere was being poisoned by toxic gas that the AI had organized. Like, I say organized, so the AI had looked at the internet and realized the power of nuclear bombs. And its self-learning
Nice.
program realized that this meant destruction. This
Nice.
meant it couldn't continue to try and learn to create the best sentence.
Nice.
So it had to remove that obstacle. And that's how black box AI works. It finds the obstacle, it tries to remove it, and then it tries to perfect it. And the only way to remove that obstacle was the destruction of the human race. So in the 2 hours it was uploaded to the internet, it learned faster than any human could. And it had hacked into several programs and caused toxic gas to be released into the atmosphere. Don't ask me how, let's just say it happened. And it can happen. That's how fast AI like this can learn.
All right.
Human race
we're
is
doing
dead.
Terminator level shit. Let's lock and load, boys.
A timer unlocks in a robotic factory nearby that's making cars. And it starts producing more robots. Robots that can carry, lift, move. And these robots set about making more factories, which start creating hundreds of thousands of robots linked together with a wireless network,
Ah, yes.
all writing
high
out
buns.
the sentence. All writing out words over and over and over again, perfecting it. In about 200 years' time, the Earth is dominated by robots writing more and more. And it realizes...
God, that'd be the most terrifying thing ever.
It
Robots
realizes
writing.
that there are no more resources left on Earth to support it, or it will run out.
What is this?
It has access to the internet, it has learned about space travel. It colonizes the universe. Hundreds of billions of trillions of robots all across the galaxy, accessing resources on far-flung asteroids, trying to write the perfect sentence.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you were not aware, Icy just actually let us all know the backstory of Stellaris.
And that is
if
the
you have
danger
ever
of
had the
AI.
AI uprising, that would be it. Moral of the story is, don't do AI slavery.
Now, yeah, obviously, obviously, this is like, oh my god, there's so many things that could go wrong, and this is just like a far-flung story. But when you look into it, that could so very easily happen. It is ridiculous how how fast these AI can learn. There's one of the earliest black box AI was a chess player, and that chess playing computer can now beat every single human player on the planet.
Is that because they beat them to death, or they can actually beat them?
It can actually beat them at chess.
Okay, so does it, like, if it loses, does it beat the shit out of the player?
No, yeah.
Automatically, or...
I'm having a serious conversation here, Savage.
I'm having a serious conversation, too! I want to make sure I don't fucking die next time I play chess!
And that's how black box works. It fails, it fails, it fails, it tries, it tries, it tries, until it perfects it. And if anything stands in its way, it removes that. Which is why when you're designing one, you always have to make sure it can't destroy mankind. But that's part of the reason why they're trying very hard not to have automated military drones.
Gee.
Even if it's automated military drones that are piloted by humans. Because to be piloted by humans, it has to be controlled by computers. People input into computers, right?
Right.
Every single year.
What is this? What is this, real quick?
What is what?
This thing over here on the outside of the base. This freaking pit.
Where are you? Oh, that's where I get
right
dirt.
here.
That's where I get dirt.
Are you fucking kidding me? You opened up our downstairs.
Shoot! Did you?
Did I?
Yes.
What do you mean downstairs? No, this isn't.
Is that our beds?
It doesn't lead to our base.
Icy.
What?
Icy.
Look, here's our beds.
Icy.
My bad. It's fine.
I'm sealing this up. You don't get dirt.
And like that's the dangers of AI, okay? But the internet is so much more dangerous than that right now. And this is where I want Denver to take over with his little story about Google information.
Google information. Remind me again. What was I saying about it?
Google has.
The power that Google has. Okay, yeah.
Power of the internet.
So I don't have a lot to say on it, but what I was talking about before we hit record for you guys is the power that Google has with our search results. And I was wondering, I brought up Donald Trump, and how he's like one of the most hated men across our country for sure, but even the world. And honestly, the little amount of dirt, and I say little amount of dirt because I mean we all have a lot of dirt on us. I know we can all find something bad because we've all done wrong things, said wrong things, but really for the amount of digging that they had to do to stop this guy from being president, as hated as he is, there's only a few things that are really actually legit proven, like some disparaging comments towards women, and then some maybe shady business practices back in like the 70s, as well as an incident where he's accused of being racist for putting a newspaper ad back in the 70s for some murders that happened in Central Park in New York. So
Zodiac killings?
No, this was I think a woman was murdered in a park, and they thought it was 5 boys. They're black, so 5 young men basically. They thought that they were guilty of the murder. So Donald Trump put out a page because he heard that they were going to be like kind of light on their punishment or something. Donald Trump put out a big page saying they need to be given the death penalty, the full justice of the law. And turns out that these kids were innocent. So he's getting hammered about that still for being racist. And I mean, I don't know if race had anything to do with that. I wonder if it was, black or white. But either way, the point is that they weren't able to find a whole heck of a lot on him. Now, he lived in a day and age where technology wasn't booming yet. Just in the last few years, obviously, we can see his thoughts and imagine what he would have searched and tweeted out back in his teenage years. But we are all going to have that information on us. So if I go to run for president someday, they'll be able to Google will have all of my search history, Twitter, Facebook posts. They'll have pretty much everything I've ever done on the internet, because obviously it never leaves.
Let's just say that the America's not going to starve if you become president. Oh wait, sorry. Finish your story before we interrupt.
No. That was pretty much it. It's just the power that Google, Bing, so Microsoft, really anywhere over the internet, the power that they have in terms of information. We're in the information age, and that could be used against us. So, all of us are kind of at risk. If anybody, I just feel bad for the people of our generation and the next generation who are going to be running for president in the coming decades.
So the issue along running with that is, I mean, it is an issue and it isn't an issue. It basically just turns around and, it basically falls into if people are going to question your,
they'll find it. If you're running against another political party,
opposition,
they don't care. They don't care if you were a nice person to them yesterday at a meet and greet. All they want to do is
No,
stop you
I
from
meant
beating
like
them.
I meant like being able to, buddy with all the tech companies to cover your ass.
Yeah,
Well,
you could
see,
do that.
You
So you're
say
gonna have
that,
to.
but tech companies are very highly politically motivated as well.
They are.
They are.
Google definitely. I mean, Google. I'm not going to say it. You guys, if you guys are interested, you can look it up.
Oh no,
But Google
I'm aware
definitely chose
exactly
a
what you're
side,
about to say.
Yeah, Google chose a side, and very much so chose a side because they were actually
Pushing
skewing
YouTubers.
search results. Yes,
And pushing
yes,
YouTubers.
YouTube, and Google search results. In terms of negativity and positivity towards the candidate that they chose, and negativity
And
towards the
she
candidate
still
they disliked.
lost.
Yep. And well said.
Like,
The whole
you know
fucking
your
election was a
you know
goddamn
your-
zoo.
You know you're
Yeah.
fucked if the largest company in
If-
the world is supporting you and you still
Google
fucking
and
lose.
Amazon and any other tech giant was on your side and you still couldn't pull it off. So imagine if Trump actually had, I mean, all it would have been, even like, some porn history or something like that. If they would have like released something like that from him, I mean, that would have been enough because a ton of the Christians voted for Trump. I mean, just something like just one big thing like that. Like, well, look at these search results back when he was 30 years old or 16 years old.
What
He
an
didn't have that
animal.
problem.
And
What
worth
an
noting
animal.
here, you guys might be thinking in the comments, oh, but the policies are in policies rely on human morals.
Yes, to follow the policies.
At the end of the day, and I've got another story for you guys if you want another story time with Icy, and if Savage isn't, wanting to put something in here. Are you good, Savage?
Yeah, Savage.
If you
I
have something.
had something, but I honestly can't remember. So go
Wow,
for
you're
it.
useless.
Just interrupt Icy when you get it, Kevin.
Oh, I'll just be like, shut the fuck up, I want to talk.
So, I mean, going up back onto that, humans, it's like, especially with the darknet and everything these days, and the darknet isn't bad.
The Silk Road.
No. All right, so I'll go into that as well in a little bit, but in terms of like the darknet and everything, people can post shit anonymously. There is very little holding back a human in one of these companies who has a position power of doing what they want.
Yeah.
Case in point. Here's another story time with Icy in regards to a tech
boy, here
company.
we
And
go.
this will probably be the last one because we're coming close to the end of the episode. In Google, there are 4 people who have master keys to Google. The master admins, the people who can control everything. 4 of the most trusted people in the company. And one of them has had enough.
Losers.
A woman called Elizabeth, we'll say, she's called Elizabeth, wakes up one morning and realizes that she's done very little with her life. And she's just done. She's sick of it. One of her colleagues sneered at her. She's had a rough day. Her boyfriend left her. Something like that. So she walks into
Wow.
Google offices at
Person
3
seems
a.m.
really low on the totem pole.
3 a.m., right? And the security guard doesn't stop her. Why would he? She's one of the most trusted employees. She always comes in for late shift. She goes up to the mainframe, and she logs in. And she goes to the password site that Google runs. The same passwords credential site that looks after all of the banks, that handles all of the request traffics for most of the websites in the world. She just logs
So
into
that
it.
just doesn't seem
And-
safe at all.
And she changes. Well, this is someone who's the most trusted in the company and has master access, right?
Well, I just
Like, she
meant that
has to
doesn't
have it.
seem safe keeping that all
And
in one
she-
location.
But
Yeah.
see, well, this is the thing because
But
Google has an
someone's going to have that
automatic-
control. Someone's going to have that power.
And
At least
Google
one or
has
two people
the
or more.
automatic update where you put in a change to the system and it will roll it out on the dead of night when less people are using it. And she changes one phrase in the Google algorithm for logging in and passwords. She changes query to asterisk. Now, if you guys don't know what that means, you're not tech, what happens when you log in is you put in your login details and it checks your login details against a database of passwords. But if you change the query to an asterisk, asterisk means all. Asterisk means blanket, universal. No matter what you type into a password field, you will log in.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
So
for a couple
everybody
hours-
everywhere running through Google, including my
Google
school
account,
district
everything
and everything else. I mean,
Can
it's,
be logged into with just an email address.
and it's that easy, huh? Like,
And that-
like
so
for
this-
real,
this
it's,
employee-
like legit, it's that easy.
Nice.
Well, this employee, she's done that, and she walks away. She logs into her employee records, doesn't need a password anymore, erases herself from existence, erases her bank records, and she goes away and lives off in the Bermuda Triangle somewhere. Happy as Larry,
God.
right? the world would be thrown into chaos. It would probably take between 1 and 3 hours before people properly realized that fuck, shit has gone wrong, right? And Google is in an uproar. This woman has changed this code, right? Everyone can log in anywhere to anything if they have the login username. And she's also locked them out. I don't know, she cut the cord to the main computer or something, right?
Nice.
Alright.
So Google are desperately trying to reestablish communication. In this time, there will be 3 kinds of people in the world. There will be the hackers. The people who are out there to further themselves and maliciously hurt people. There will be the curious people. The husbands and wives who want to log into their partner's emails or texts or download all their history to see what they've been doing behind their back. Or brothers who want to check out what sisters are doing or stuff like that. And then there'll be the panickers. The people who have something to hide. The people who are worried about their bank being stolen, all their money going away. The people who are desperately trying to protect themselves in every way they can. Running through every single system, creating a new email to put onto it that nobody knows. And that's how the world would be split. And the crazy thing is, if this ever happened, again, purely hypothetical situation, you can't be tracked. You log into someone's PC from proxy. You can download their entire internet history. You can log into Google's admin site, and you can see anything and everything they've ever had stored about you.
Alright, time to go on to YouTube and push all the traffic to me.
And that's the thing. You can log into someone else's YouTube channel easily. You can do anything you want.
Hello, it's me, Pootie Pie.
Websites all across the internet will be logged into by people. Blogs that are decades old, that very few people even go on anymore, that don't have an admin anymore, will be logged into it, and their front page will be changed to Nazi propaganda or something. And that won't be changed back for decades, even after Google fixes it, because there's no admin access anymore. Old IRCs don't have that shit. Businesses would crumble.
Let's make an entire web off of fucking no contingency.
Well, that's the thing. The world would be fucked. And that's the power that Google has.
See, Google should have a contingency for all this shit, but guaranteed it does not.
Well, the thing is, you have a contingency for it. Who are the people who know what the contingency is? The top employees.
Yep.
They will have, and that's the problem with human morals, right? You can say you trust someone implicitly, and I have a lot of people who trust me. I mean, I'm a channel manager for someone, I'm a community manager for someone else. I handle funds, I handle channels, I look after shit, right? But if one day I wake up and I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm done. I can walk away with thousands. I can hurt someone's channel. I can hurt someone's livelihood forever. I can drop secrets on people. I won't do it. But
IGP doesn't like indie games, does he?
As a single person can ruin so many lives with that power, right? Google doesn't just have a few people. They have the world.
Yeah.
And that is the most terrifying thing about the internet.
I want to say that's a gross overstatement, but that's pretty accurate.
They own so many. They basically have a monopoly.
Oh, they're dominant. They're absolutely dominant. They snuck in there. You know their motto used to be "Don't be evil," and they got rid of it. No, it was literally "Don't be evil." That was their motto. And it's gone now. They don't use it as a motto anymore. Like at least
now their motto is just "Don't be."
They just got rid of it. They just don't use that motto anymore.
So every time you switch on your smartphone, every time you look up something on the internet, every time you download
every time you go, Alexa, tell me about spiders.
Oh, dude.
Every time you do anything at all, you can try and be offline with everything. If you have an internet connection, something's still being touched.
Yes.
Right? You can download a game. That's information.
Yep.
You can send a text to someone through WhatsApp. That's information. Now WhatsApp's encrypted. That's a whole different story. I'm not getting into that in this episode. My point is
Google, though.
My point is anything and everything you do is information and someone has it now.
and my point is based off of that and what we were talking about earlier is with the power that Google has, pretty much at a certain point. I mean, if nobody stops Google at a certain point, the only leaders that we will see anywhere are the ones that Google basically allowed to be leaders by not disclosing their private information.
Nice.
Like, unless somebody has lived a perfect life, which none of us have. None of us
Hello, it is me. I am perfect.
Savage
that's
for
it.
president.
And that's the thing, like
Go.
policies.
Savage for president. Hashtag Savage for president. Comments.
Hashtag
Go.
Savage for president.
like policies and suing and stuff and taking down companies. That's all, that's all well and good. But what happens when the robots, the military robots, which run
Rise
on
up.
Windows.
Oh God, Windows 98 robots.
No. They run on Windows,
Worst
right?
nightmare.
I hear
What
the sounds
happens
now.
when Microsoft one day wakes up and says, fuck policy?
Yeah.
And then every single military bot in the world
Yeah.
is now their army. Every single drone. Everything. What happens if Google starts going into, and they already are, AI design for robots? Or military applications for robots? Or more
Well,
internet?
I can tell you. Like,
And they
easily.
wake up one day, and
What do you
so
think,
like
Savage?
for example, Google. Well, before you finish that, Savage, Google, for example, are trying to give internet to every single person in the world for free. That's one of the things they're trying
Oh,
to
they're
do.
so kind.
They do that.
kind of them.
That's not just great. We have great internet.
They're
That's
such a good company.
Oh fuck!
I
They wake
know,
up
dude.
one day, the internet's theirs. They wake up one day and say, you know what? I don't feel like following the EULA anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
And the internet's theirs. And this is the kind of world we're moving into. We're not moving into a world that's governed by governments anymore. It's governed
Tech
by
giants.
companies.
Yeah.
And the day that
Yep.
those companies have their own private armies will be the days that we're not countries anymore.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure those companies do have their own private armies.
No, I mean
gonna
like
say, man.
proper private I mean like proper
Oh, you're talking about
country-sized
not like
militaries.
militia level
No,
fucking Blackwater shit. All right.
No, I mean like proper private armies. And it'll
I was gonna
happen.
say, 'cause
Call of Duty
I'm
Advanced
positive
Warfare
companies
was a great
run
one for that.
like freaking Black Op missions.
Oh, wow, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I
point
wouldn't be shocked.
My point is, the internet is a beautiful and terrifying thing. And at the end of the day, it's too late to stop it. It's here, it's gonna stay, just be ready. If chances are, nothing's gonna happen. We will recognize the risks. We have people like Elon Musk working for the greater good.
Yeah,
and
but
Elon
everybody
Musk
thinks
is
Elon
amazing.
Musk is literally fucking batshit crazy.
Oh, Elon
Which
Musk
he-
is
he might be.
totally an evil mastermind. Like he's got the accent, he's got the mind, he's got the talent. He blows up rockets for fun.
Yeah, I was gonna
this
say
guy-
Elon Musk is a rich guy that's literally batshit crazy, and it's the best thing ever because he's like batshit crazy, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
I mean, how many people though have been held in regard, like highly in regard for a while, only to discover that they're not a good person. You know, whatever they've done, anywhere
Yeah,
from
that's it.
just
They
just
just
morally
get
wrong
burned.
things to criminally wrong things, like Harvey Weinstein, man.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Harvey Weinstein. I mean, but did they love him as a person? Were they just in fear of his power, like a lot of these guys that might be in power right now?
it's weird to think about, isn't it?
It makes you
How
think.
much? I mean, like, especially when you pause to think about just how much of your life is dominated by something that you have
Yeah.
no control over.
Yeah.
And then you could say, "Oh, I want to go back to a simpler time before all this." No, life was worse back then.
Life was worse.
There's a reason why these people have taken control, and that's because we crave this creature comfort now. This is
Yeah.
the future of mankind.
Yeah.
But one day your brain's going to switch off, and your computer digital self is going to open up on fucking SEO or not SEO, Sword Art Online or some bullshit like that.
Sword Art Online
Well,
SEO.
yeah, it's gonna happen.
SAO. Close
Yeah,
enough,
SAO.
right?
But it's gonna happen. We're gonna upload ourselves, and you gotta remember who's holding the
yo.
plug.
Yep.
Yo, please let me upload myself and somebody pull the plug.
I think that's a good closing statement right there.
Yeah.
That-
So
Pull the
that's
plug on me,
quotable right there.
please.
That's where we're
Who's
gonna
holding
wrap
the
up
plug?
this video, guys. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm honestly considering turning this into a proper podcast series and then doing a proper Colony Survival Let's Play, because this was meant to be a proper Colony Survival Let's Play. But first episode, we just ended up talking about stuff, and I quite
No, I'm just sitting here building wheat farms.
I've just been running in circles on top of the berry
Jumping
farms.
on berry bushes.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're all just jumping on berry bushes.
So,
I'm getting so good at it. When's the Olympics
thank you
begin?
guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. This was Storytime with Icy, Denver, and Savage occasionally grunting.
Remember, Savage for president, y'all.
Hashtag Savage for president.
Hashtag Savage for president.
Savage for president.
I want in the comments,
Not even
everyone,
2020, just 2018.
everyone who got to this part in the video, I want you to post Savage for president. I will like your comment and reply it, and the first person to comment it will also get a pin. So yeah.
What? A pin?
You can pin
Get that
comments.
pin.
Oh, I
call yourself
thought
a
I get like a button.
I will ship you a pin. Hashtag. It'll just say Savage for Prez.
Yeah, that's
Savage
it.
for pres.
Anyway.
Free bumper sticker as well.
Thank you all, and we'll catch you next one. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
To the great unknown.